Today we're going to make a chevron bordered friendship bracelet. So you're going to need some craft thread or embroidery thread, the thick kind, a pair of scissors for cutting the thread, a ruler for measuring it out, some tape to hold it in place or a clipboard or something, and a bead or a button or something that you can use as the fastener on the bracelet. So to start out, I'm measuring 10 inches of thread and then folding it over 6 times so that you end up with 70 inches. Trim that off, and then I'm using that to measure out all the other threads so that we have equal amounts of every thread. I'm using black for the border color, and I also want black to be one of the chevrons, so I'm making 2 of those strings. But if you just want the border without that color appearing in the chevrons, then you only need 1 of them. Once you've cut all the threads, fold them in half and then make a knot at the center point of that. So not the open ends of the threads, the folded part. And you want the loop above that knot to be big enough for a bead or a button or something to go through, but not so big that it's just going to fall off when you fasten it. Then we can get started making this. So tape it down or clip it down, however you are holding this thing in place while you work. And then separate the threads. So you want whatever color you're using for the border, I'm using black, to be on the outside. And all of the other colors, separate them into the order you want them to be in the chevrons, and you're creating a mirror image. So I've got 2 blacks on the outside for the left, so on the right I would have 2 blacks, and then I've got a white one next on the left, so I would have a white one next on the right. So I went ahead and did some of this bracelet so it's easier for you to see exactly what is going on. And we're starting a new row, so we're starting on the outside. And this outside thread is our border. So we're making a forwards 4 over the string next to it, threading it under that string, and then pulling it tight. And then we're making a backwards 4 over that thread, putting the string under it and pulling it tight again. So that thread that was on the outside, that's ended up back on the outside, and we're not going to do anything else with that thread for this row. So now we're going to do forward knots over every other thread until we get to the middle. So you make the 4 shape over the next thread and pull it tight, and then make another 4 and pull it tight. And then do the same on the next thread, and the next one, and the next one until you hit the center. Then we're going to do the same thing but in reverse from the other side. So we're taking that outermost thread, the border thread, and this time we're starting with a backwards 4. So we're doing the backwards 4, then sticking the thread under the second thread, pulling it tight, and then doing a forwards 4, sticking the thread under and pulling it tight. So that border thread has ended up back on the outside again. So now for the rest of the threads on this side, we're going to do backwards 4s. And remember, you want to do 2 backwards 4s on each string. So now we're at the middle and we need to attach these 2 black strings together. And you can do this however you want. You could do 2 forwards 4s, 2 backwards 4s, a forwards and a backwards. It doesn't really matter, it will end up looking the same. And then we're going to do the whole process again, starting from the outside with our border thread. And you want that border thread to always stay on the outside. You should never be bringing it in across the threads. And just keep doing that until your bracelet is as long as you want it to be. So once you've done that, it's time to attach a bead or a button or whatever you're using to fasten your bracelet. So I'm taking the middle 6 strands and I'm threading them through the bead, then tying a knot at the end to make sure that the bead doesn't come off. And then those remaining threads I've got hanging out, I'm tying those in small knots and then trimming off the extra thread. In an ideal world, you would be able to get all of the strings to go through the bead hole, but I couldn't fit them through mine. And that's it, your bracelet is done. So I hope you like it, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye!